Welcome to another episode of Story Mingle, where stories come alive and learning takes a whole new dimension. StoryMingle.com is your go-to destination for enriching content that educates, inspires, and entertains. And today, we are diving into an essential skill that can set you apart in the professional world: presentation skills. Imagine this: you've been asked to present an important idea to your team or even an audience of executives. Your heart races a little as you picture yourself standing in front of a room full of people. Will they engage with what you say? Will they understand your message? Will they remember your key points after you finish? A great presentation isn't just about having slides or speaking for a set amount of time. It's about delivering a message that sticks, leaving your audience informed, inspired, or even persuaded to take action. But how do you make that happen? It all starts with structuring your presentation. Think of a presentation as a journey. You need a clear roadmap to guide your audience. Every great presentation has three core elements: an introduction, a body, and a conclusion. The introduction sets the stage, grabbing attention and giving people a reason to listen. The body contains the main points, structured logically so that your audience can follow along easily. And the conclusion wraps everything up, leaving a lasting impression. Imagine you're presenting a proposal for a new project. Instead of jumping straight into the details, you might start by painting a picture of the problem that needs solving. Then, you introduce your solution step by step, making it clear and compelling. Finally, you close with a strong takeaway, reinforcing why your idea matters. Without a solid structure, even the best ideas can get lost in a sea of words. Now, let's talk about the power of a strong opening and closing. The first few moments of your presentation are crucial. This is when your audience decides whether to pay attention or let their minds wander. Instead of starting with, "Today, I'm going to talk about," consider a more engaging approach. Ask a thought-provoking question, share a surprising fact, or tell a short story that connects to your topic. For example, if you're presenting on time management, you might start with, "Did you know that the average person spends nearly 5 hours a day on their phone?" Imagine what you could accomplish if you used even half of that time differently. A powerful opening draws people in. Equally important is how you close. A strong conclusion reinforces your key message and leaves a lasting impact. Instead of simply saying, "That's all I have," summarize your main points and give your audience something to take away. A compelling way to end could be, "If there's one thing I want you to remember from today's session, it's this: effective time management isn't about doing more, it's about doing what matters most." The choice is yours. A great presentation doesn't just end, it leaves an impression. But how do you keep your audience engaged throughout? The secret lies in using clear and simple language. Have you ever listened to a speaker who used complex jargon, making it hard to follow? The best presenters communicate in a way that anyone can understand. Imagine explaining a concept to a friend who has no background in your field. Would they get it? Instead of saying, "Our organization aims to optimize operational efficiency through strategic resource allocation," a clearer version might be, "We want to make the best use of our resources to get things done faster and better." The simpler and more direct your language, the more engaged your audience will be. And then comes a part that many people find intimidating: handling Q&A sessions. You've delivered your presentation, and now it's time for the audience to ask questions. What if someone asks something you don't know? What if they challenge your ideas? The key to handling Q&A confidently is to stay calm, listen carefully, and respond thoughtfully. If you know the answer, keep it clear and concise. If you don't, be honest but professional. Instead of panicking, you could say, "That's a great question. I don't have the exact data on that right now, but I'll be happy to follow up with you after the session. A confident Q&A session shows that you're prepared and open to discussion, which strengthens your credibility. Finally, let's talk about body language and voice modulation, the unspoken elements of a powerful presentation. Imagine two presenters, one stands stiffly, avoids eye contact, and speaks in a monotone voice. The other makes eye contact, gestures naturally, and varies their tone to emphasize key points. Who do you think would be more engaging? Body language plays a crucial role in how your message is received. Standing tall, using purposeful gestures, and making eye contact with different sections of the audience creates a connection. At the same time, your voice is a tool that can bring your words to life. Instead of speaking in a flat tone, emphasize important points by slightly raising or lowering your voice. Pausing at the right moments can add impact, making your words more powerful. A great presenter doesn't just speak, they command attention through how they move and how they sound. And with that, we've covered the essential elements of presentation skills. Structuring your content effectively keeps your message clear. A strong opening and closing make your presentation memorable. Using simple language ensures engagement. Handling Q&A with confidence builds credibility. And using body language and voice modulation keeps your audience interested. When all these elements come together, your presentations will no longer just be about speaking, they will be about making an impact. Thank you for tuning in to this episode of Story Mingle. If you'd like to explore more insights on professional skills, visit storymingle.com and check out our YouTube channel for more engaging content. This is Srinidhi, your AI voice instructor, signing off. Keep practicing, keep presenting, and keep making your mark. See you in the next episode. Welcome to another episode of Story Mingle, where stories come alive and learning takes on a whole new dimension. Storymingle.com is your go-to destination for enriching content that educates, inspires, and entertains. And today, we are diving into specialized topics in corporate communication, powerful skills that help professionals excel in high-stakes situations, from negotiations and conflict management to networking and leadership. Imagine this, you're in a high-pressure business negotiation, sitting across the table from a potential client or partner. The stakes are high, your company's next big deal depends on the outcome of this conversation. How do you ensure that you get what you want without sounding too aggressive? How do you persuade the other party while maintaining a positive relationship? This is where negotiation language and strategies come into play. The best negotiators know that words are powerful tools. Instead of saying, "We need a lower price," you could frame it more strategically. "Would there be any flexibility in pricing if we increased our order size?" The way you phrase your request can change the entire tone of the conversation. Skilled negotiators also use conditional statements to create a win-win outcome. For example, if we can agree on a longer contract term, we'd be happy to discuss more favorable pricing. Negotiation isn't just about pushing your point, it's about framing it in a way that leads to a mutual agreement. Now, what happens when negotiations turn into conflicts? Picture this, a disagreement arises between two team members about project deadlines. One person insists that the timeline is unrealistic, while the other argues that the delay is unnecessary. Managing conflicts effectively requires a balance of politeness and assertiveness. Instead of saying, "You're wrong," a more professional approach would be, "I see your point, but I have some concerns about how this timeline will affect our other deadlines. Can we explore a solution that works for both of us?" The key is acknowledging the other person's perspective while standing firm on your own points. Conflict resolution also involves offering alternatives instead of just rejecting ideas outright. Instead of saying, "That won't work," you might say, "I understand your suggestion, but would you be open to considering an alternative approach?" Using neutral and collaborative language turns a disagreement into a discussion. Beyond negotiations and conflict resolution, another skill that defines successful professionals is networking and building strong professional relationships. Imagine you're attending a corporate event, surrounded by industry leaders and potential business partners. How do you start a conversation that leads to a lasting connection? The secret is finding common ground and making a positive first impression. Instead of a generic, "Nice to meet you," consider something more engaging. "I really enjoyed your talk earlier. Your insights on market trends were fascinating. How did you first get into this field?" A good networker doesn't just talk about themselves, they show genuine curiosity about others. After the conversation, a simple follow-up message like, "It was great connecting with you at the event. Let's stay in touch," can turn a brief interaction into a long-term connection. Networking isn't just about collecting business cards, it's about building trust and rapport. But what if you're networking with someone from a different cultural background? Business English isn't just about knowing the right words, it's about understanding cultural nuances that shape communication styles. For example, in some cultures, direct communication is appreciated, while in others, indirect phrasing is preferred to maintain harmony. Imagine an American manager saying, "We need to fix this problem immediately." A Japanese colleague might find this too direct and prefer something like, "Perhaps we could explore some improvements to address this issue." Neither style is wrong, it's just a matter of cultural expectations. Being aware of these nuances can help you adapt your communication and avoid misunderstandings. And finally, let's talk about English for leadership and team management. Great leaders don't just give orders, they inspire, motivate, and guide their teams with effective communication. Imagine you're a manager giving feedback to an employee. Instead of saying, "This report isn't good," a more constructive approach would be, "You've made some great points in this report. If we refine the analysis section a bit, it'll be even stronger." Leaders also encourage collaboration by using inclusive language. Instead of saying, "You need to get this done by Friday," a leader might say, "Let's aim to have this wrapped up by Friday. What support do you need to make that happen?" Small changes in language can make a huge difference in how your message is received. And with that, we've covered the essential elements of specialized corporate communication, from negotiation strategies and conflict management to networking, cultural awareness, and leadership communication. These skills don't just help you communicate better, they help you build relationships, solve problems, and lead with confidence. Thank you for tuning in to this episode of Story Mingle. If you'd like to explore more insights on professional skills, visit storymingle.com and check out our YouTube channel for more engaging content. This is Srinidhi, your AI voice instructor, signing off. Keep learning, keep growing, and keep making an impact. See you in the next episode. Welcome to another episode of Story Mingle, where learning becomes an experience and skills come to life through engaging stories. Whether you're tuning in from your morning commute, a quiet coffee break, or the end of a long workday, get ready for a practical, hands-on session that will help you sharpen your corporate communication skills. We've talked about strategies, techniques, and best practices, but how do you truly internalize these skills and make them second nature? The answer lies in practice. Today, we are diving into practical exercises that will challenge you, engage you, and transform the way you communicate in the workplace. Let's begin with an interactive approach, role-playing workplace scenarios. Imagine you're in a mock office environment. You're about to have a difficult conversation with a colleague who has missed a deadline. How do you approach the situation professionally without sounding too harsh? You might start with, "Hey Mark, I noticed that the report wasn't submitted on time. I understand that things get busy, but this deadline was crucial for the project timeline. Is there anything that's causing delays, and how can we work together to ensure we meet future deadlines?" Now, let's flip the scenario. Imagine you're in a performance review and need to talk about your accomplishments without sounding boastful. Instead of saying, "I did everything on this project," a more effective way would be, "Over the past quarter, I've led the marketing campaign, collaborated with the sales team, and streamlined our workflow, which helped us achieve a 20% increase in client engagement." Role-playing these real-life workplace situations trains your mind to respond professionally in any scenario. Now, let's make learning fun with word games and quizzes to build vocabulary. Think about some commonly used corporate terms. Do you truly understand what they mean? Words like synergy, leverage, and scalability are often thrown around in meetings, but their meanings can sometimes be vague. Let's play a quick definition challenge. I'll say a word, and you take a moment to think of its meaning before I explain it. Ready? Leverage. What does it mean? It's often used in business to mean using resources or opportunities to maximize results. For example, we should leverage our industry partnerships to expand our market reach. Here's another one, low-hanging fruit. This means an easy-to-achieve goal. In a meeting, you might hear someone say, "Let's focus on the low-hanging fruit before tackling the more complex tasks." Expanding your business vocabulary isn't about memorizing difficult words, it's about understanding context and using them naturally in conversations. Now, let's take it a step further by breaking down corporate buzzwords and jargon. Have you ever been in a meeting where people use so much business jargon that you lose track of the actual message? Phrases like circle back, deep dive, or touch base can be confusing when overused. A great exercise is to translate jargon into simple, clear language. Instead of saying, "Let's touch base next week to align on deliverables," you could say, "Let's have a quick check-in next week to finalize our tasks." Clear, direct, and easy to understand. Up next, we have listener questions and real-life problem solving. We all encounter challenges in communication, whether it's writing a tricky email, speaking up in meetings, or handling feedback. Imagine a listener asks, "I get really nervous speaking in meetings. How can I build confidence?" One effective exercise is recording yourself speaking on a topic for 2 minutes. Then, play it back and assess your clarity, tone, and confidence. Over time, this practice helps you get comfortable with your voice and improves your fluency. Another listener might ask, "How do I respond when someone gives me feedback I don't agree with?" A great way to practice is by role-playing different responses. Instead of saying, "I don't think that's true," try, "I appreciate your feedback. Could you give me an example so I can understand your perspective better?" Finally, let's end with a challenge, weekly exercises to put new skills into practice. Here's your challenge for this week. Times Day 1, introduce yourself to someone new in a professional setting. Times Day 2, use a new business term in a conversation or email. Times Day 3, practice summarizing a meeting or article in one clear paragraph. Times Day 4, ask a colleague for feedback on your communication style. Times Day 5, role-play a tough conversation with a friend or mentor. These simple daily exercises will help you build confidence and refine your communication skills over time. And with that, we wrap up today's session. We've explored role-playing workplace scenarios, vocabulary building games, decoding corporate jargon, solving real-life communication problems, and taking on weekly challenges. Now, it's your turn. Pick an exercise and start practicing today. Thank you for tuning into StoryMingle. For more practical learning resources, visit storymingle.com and check out our YouTube channel for more engaging content. This is Srinidhi, your AI voice instructor, signing off. Keep practicing, keep growing, and see you in the next episode.